Hey everyone, welcome. Right, let's get into some pre-market analysis here. I've done a little bit of markup already, kept some drawings from yesterday. Yeah, other than that, fresh day. So obviously, I'm not expecting price action to be the best. So close to Christmas. This is the last day I'm going to be streaming here and also trading. I might do like a tape reading stream or something, just tape read Christmas price action, but I wouldn't have any intention on trading. But yeah, that's into this. So we have a daily volume imbalance here. Just a new week opening gap. That's just a daily volume imbalance. Okay. So 4 hour. Obviously the draw is still the same. Still in the same range. Haven't moved much out of it. We do have a low resistance liquidity run now. Just above both of these gaps here that are both in discount. So could be a little good little area to buy. Let me move this over. Okay. We are kind of like consolidating in this sort of range. I haven't really moved out of it. But yeah, I mean, this is pretty obvious. This is a pretty obvious low resistance liquidity run here. Gap below, discount below. Pretty strong draw on liquidity. Whether we actually go down to it is another thing. But we do have. I'm thinking either we take out this high first and then run it, or run it first and then take out the high. We do have a H1 inversion here. And obviously, some more side liquidity. Yeah. Hello everyone, welcome to the stream. We're just doing some pre-market analysis here. This is currently the hourly time frame. My bias is bearish. We have a low resistance liquidity run here, just above a gap in discount on the 4 hour, as well as other varying time frames. Hourly here, for example, in 15 minutes too. Some field inefficiencies. I'm thinking either we come and run this buy side first, and then head lower, or vice versa. We run the sell side here, the low resistance liquidity run first, tap into this gap, discount, and then make a move higher. Can't really be so sure on that just because of how close we are to Christmas and how price action has been. I mean, this is pretty terrible. And this as well, But yeah, that's basically the gist of it. We have an hourly inversion, bearish one. It looks like it's not holding up too good here. We are sort of in this, bearish range. Sorry, not bearish range. It's just range here. Not bearish nor bullish, but like I say, we do have an A+ draw on liquidity here. A nice, obvious low resistance liquidity run with a gap below, and a completely unfilled on the 4 hour. And discount too. It's just whether price wants to run this high first and then come down, or run the lows, and then we can look for a reversal. Okay. Yeah, so we're still obviously waiting for some sell side or buy side to be taken hit. There's no SMTs either. I'll have a look quickly. We have no SMTs at the highs or lows. Hello, welcome to the stream. Hello, viewers. No, there's nothing. There's not even any highs at the low. Sorry, SMT at the highs or lows. Is your buy bearish today? I mean, I'd like to be bearish just because we have this nice low resistance liquidity run, a lot of stacked liquidity above these unfilled H4 gaps in discount. Like I say, I can't really be so sure considering we are in this range. I don't know what's going to get swept first, whether we just sweep these highs or all these lows. I can't really be too sure. Like I said, I'd like to be bearish, but price action is bullish. Order flow is bullish. And obviously, this daily buy side here with the gap has been my draw for the past couple of weeks. Over the long term, I guess I'm bullish. But we'll just react here. I'm not going to try and predict anything. We've got to kind of wait for a valid sweep in that, which we've not had at all. It's all just highs inside of lows, inside of highs. There's nothing swept here on either side. It's good to see you in here, Fred. Again, appreciate you being in here with me. See if we can catch something nice today. Okay, so this whole range here is balanced. There's no inefficiencies on this leg, so I don't really know what we could reject off here, other than the buy side or the hourly candle wants to wick up and keep below this gap. It's the only kind of scenarios where this high doesn't get ran. Or we just keep ranging and don't even take it out for no reason, and that would just be December price action for you. But yeah, that's pretty much the gist of it. I would like to see this ran, this discount tapped here. Overall we are bullish, so. I traded Forex earlier for the first time in a couple of months. Never again. Yeah, man. Forex just ain't that. Futures is bad enough this time of year, but yeah, Forex, I wouldn't. What pair were you trying to trade? Out of curiosity. Why does my thing keep doing that? Hi Stanley. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate you being in here. Oh, you're a GDP, GBP, yeah. Like I say, I haven't traded Forex for years, just because I just prefer futures. As soon as I, started trading Nasdaq, it was, a clear swap. There was no need for me to stick around trying to trade Forex. I'd say Nasdaq is more consistent, but I mean, at the minute, it's not. It usually is, though. I mean, this is obviously awful, but we've had setups last month. Last month was a great month for trading. A lot of clean setups. Just December tends to be bad, so I don't know. It depends. Like if you, genuinely have a bad history with Forex, then you could try futures, but otherwise just wait it out. Wait out December, It looks like this buy side here is going to get ran. And hopefully we can get some sort of reversal here. Like I say, we do have an A+ draw on liquidity here. Some nice engineered sell side above an unfilled gap. It's primed for the taking. If obviously if we weren't in December, this would probably work out very nicely. But we you know, price is unpredictable here, so we do have to be a little bit careful. This is the last day that I'm going to be trading, actually trading. I might do like a tape reading live stream or something. You know, just tape read price leading up to Christmas. But yeah, for live trading, this is going to be the last day until January the 2nd. Just because price is going to be super unpredictable, choppy, rangy. Watch you from Zambia, Africa. Oh, that's nice. That's cool, man. Super cool. Pretty excited. Appreciate you tuning in. Hopefully I can give you some knowledge here. Teach you a little something. I appreciate you joining from Africa, man. Cool. So we've got 8 minutes here until market open. Just gonna sit on our hands and just wait, you know. I was looking at price action pre-market, and obviously there's no trades here, but if you can already tell, we have an inversion here, and then another inversion. So it's already, you know, lower probability conditions just by looking at this, you know. We had a 5 minute here, but there was no liquidity sweep. We were literally just reacting off this lower gap. And with such a good draw on liquidity below, you know, this isn't something you'd really want to take, especially because we haven't swept any sell side. And there's no higher time frame gap here. You know, you've tapped into a fair value gap on the same time frame. You need something higher, more substantial. And also, you know, you close through the hourly FEG as well. So, you know, bearish signal. But obviously, price has disrespected that and respected the 5 minute, which is no big deal. But like I say, there was no confirmation set up here, you know. Maybe this is the only valid one, but I mean, still, it's kind of ropey, just considering that you've had multiple gaps here as well, you know. Look at 30-second, it's even worse. Yeah, but I mean, we could just wait here, wait for this buy side to be taken, if it does. When would you say the best time to come back to trading after Christmas? I'm going to say January 2nd, to be honest. Just give it, you know, take the Christmas period off, spend it with your family or whatever. But just, yeah, you know, take it off because it's not worth it. Price action's already going downhill, you can tell, just by the range that we're in, you know. At this range, does this range scream high probability price action? It doesn't, you know. But yeah, no, January 2nd, man. Do you own a Signal group? No, I don't own a Signal group. But thanks for the comment. Appreciate that. Bro, this YouTube chat filter is crazy. Can't even send an emoji without getting filtered. No, man, I don't have a filter on. I don't know why it does that. But I mean, I appreciate the aubergine, bro. I appreciate that. I don't really know what to do with that information, to be honest. Try send a peach or like some, you know, the water emoji or something, see if that works. YouTube being gnarly, yeah, man. Probably. They're trying to protect me. They don't want me to get groomed. I don't know if I can say that word on TikTok. Probably just got myself banned. Did it send? No. No, I've not had any aubergine emojis come through. They can't stop me. Oh, man. Try and like type it out with symbols and stuff, you know. Who's inviting me to you? What? Some random Donny just invited me to join him on live. No, I'm good, mate. Thank you. I'm not joining your stream at Arif, but thank you anyway. Oh really? Oh, let me take a look. A good long. Okay, let's see. So we were at AM session yesterday. I ended the stream. Oh damn, yeah. Wait, did I end stream here? No, that's too late. Was it here? I think it was here because we came down, missed this low and then consolidated. Okay, so you're talking about this. Let me see. We've got 4 minutes here until until market open. So, yeah, we didn't take. Wait, did we take this? I think we did. Oh wait, no, we didn't, because this was so close to the break-even point, it wasn't worth it. Okay, I remember that. So yeah, I ended here, didn't I? Is there a valid long here? To be honest with you, Fred, I can't see a valid long here, to be honest with you. I mean, maybe here on like the 5 minute or something, but we didn't sweep this liquidity. And unless there was SMT, which there wasn't, I wouldn't call this valid. For my model anyway, I don't know what model you trade. Maybe it's valid for you, you know, in which case, you know, good stuff, man. That's great, but just not for me, I don't think. Yes, we had a 2 minute, but like I say, there's no liquidity sweep here, you know. 5 minute too. I mean, you do have multiple inversions, to be fair, on different time frames. I'd have had to have waited for the 5 minute to close, and then I'd have gone on a lower time frame and looked to see if we had a confirmation entry. If I was going to take this, you know, I might have gone low risk. I mean, there was no confirmation entry here for me. So personally, I wouldn't have been able to enter this trade. But if you caught like a long here, you know, nice job, man. You caught a big move. Props, man, props. Anyway, let's go back to today. All right, so we're leaving this buy side apparently. We're gonna leave this here. Yeah, man. What the heck? I mean, it beats emojis, right? A couple of ASCII art middle fingers. Good stuff. Probably, hang on, wait. Here you are. This is what sent in the YouTube chat. I'll add it on the screen. They're not fingers. Oh, okay. Well, I don't know if I could say that on live. This is what was sent. This is good stuff. This is a solid memeage. Can I even move it? There we are. Look. He's going to sit up there for the rest of the stream now. That's where he's going to stay. We've got 2 minutes here until market open. We're just wicking these imbalances at the minute. I really don't want it to just, you know, come down without missing this high again. Like, it would just show that we are in bad price action here, just consolidation, because there's no way these highs are so close to being taken and then just keeps reversing off at literally, well, pretty much nothing, you know? Like, what is this, a lower time frame gap? Will be closed above anyway. I don't know, man. I mean, maybe there's a long forms here out of this 5 minute, but nothing I'd take. Gotta go work, broski. Good luck with trading. Hope you make big cash. Oh, thanks, man. Appreciate that. Enjoy work, bro. Appreciate you tuning in again. Have fun, man. Have fun. I don't think there's much chance of big cash today, though. To be honest with you. Hello, everyone in the TikTok. Appreciate you joining. Thanks for being in here. Market open right now. So this is the market open candle here on the 1 minute. By the way, I'm thinking of adding, you know, the cut of the time frames, just like a little snippet on my OBS, maybe below the NQ Futures, ICT Concepts, IVGs, just so it's a bit clearer. You can see what time frame on. If that's something that you think could help, just let me know in the chat. I tried to do it earlier, but I couldn't work out how to do it, so I'll have to, you know, look up a tutorial like I'm 40 years old. Okay, so there's some buy side finally. Again, nothing valid here. There's no valid long here. This is already invalid because it's taken out the break-even point. But yeah, I mean, at least we took some buy side. Can't complain. This guy can, like, he's kind of like in the way, so I'm just going to get rid of him. SMT, maybe. No, not yet. No SMT yet. If NQ takes, okay, so NQ did just take out this high and this high. Okay. Okay, so we have buy-side liquidity taken here. And there is currently an SMT unless ES catches up. Excuse me. Okay, I mean, we can look for a short here potentially. Like I say, price is bullish, so it'd have to be pristine. But we have just swept buy side, and we have also just tapped into a the remainder of a higher time frame gap here. I believe 4 hour. No, each one. Maybe I'm wrong. Oh wait, no, there was a little bit of 15-minute gap that was unfilled, but yeah, doesn't matter. So this, maybe we're heading here. I do like that we've finally broken out of the range just with no valid entry and conflicting draws, you know. I'm going to wait for it to, you know, actually reverse before I keep moving the fib. Fib marks out this area here, but we have a lot of stacked liquidity here leading into discount. You know, including these lows here as well, but these are like the closest, you know, the lowest angle, so we're just counting this as the low resistance liquidity run. So after we hit this buy side, what's above? Let me just map out a little bit. So we have a 4 hour here. Buy side. I don't really know what that's referring to, but is there any higher time frame gaps? Nothing really. This H4 has already been completely filled, I believe. Yeah, completely filled. There's nothing, there's no higher time frame gaps standing between here and here. So I think if we do end up running this high, we're most likely just gonna, you know, keep heading higher, maybe to this high, or I don't know about this one because there's a large daily volume imbalance. You can see it right here. There on the 30-minute, you can see a large gap down. Maybe we're heading to fill that. Which should be kind of annoying considering we have such a good, you know, a good draw on liquidity here, and you know, such a good area to potentially long off of. This is not a good area to long off of. You know, we haven't swept any liquidity. Inverse the hourly. Like I say, this one here, obviously we had the 5-minute inversion, but we didn't sweep any sell side here, so not a valid 5-minute setup. Plus we inverted the 1 hour, so you know, conflicting draws and everything. And then for a confirmation, once we closed above that 5-minute, if you'd have waited until market open, there is a large IFEG here, but it's invalid. Just because, you know, we've closed above the break-even point. We've also closed so close to buy-side liquidity. You know, if you knew the context, the consolidation that we've been in, you can't have really counted out that we weren't going to reject here. You know, we could have rejected below the high, which is what we've been doing here for the past couple of days. You know, not even taking out the highs. So, no good long here to cash this move up. But hopefully we can catch a move down. I don't really expect a reversal here. There's no key key point. You know, we've not tapped into anything. And maybe this order block. I don't really see order blocks holding price down. You know, causing a complete reversal though. We do have a nice draw, so potentially. We'll have to wait for something clean. And right now there's nothing really clean. Obviously we have a lot of imbalances on higher time frames below. So what you kind of need is another leg up with a singular 30-second or 1 minute, and then you could, add some, a lower risk to potentially short, but we are kind of reacting off of nothing here apart from this high side. We did, run quite high above this, so probably just expect this to be a pullback, a retracement. So I guess what we can do is just draw a fib here. Mark out any lower, higher time frame. We did just tap into a 4 minute. 4 minutes kind of an odd time frame though. 3 minute, 2, and 2 minute, 1 minute. This is the 5 minute here, which hasn't closed yet. So again, same as yesterday, you can't really determine here what 830 did. Is this the manipulation? I'd assume so. So considering we did expand, but it's difficult to tell when when you're in a range and you're consolidating. But we can just wait here. Could have taken this 30-second. It would have been a break even though. Would have been a break even trade. It's difficult trying to short when you have high time frame gaps below. It's kind of, you shouldn't really do it just because it automatically decreases the probability. The chances are we're going to react off of that, especially if we're bearish. And like I say, if we're going to run this, we're most likely going to run this. So but I mean, this isn't bad. It's not retraced a discount yet, but it is valid. I'm not going to take it, but I will tape read it. I will tape read this one. It's not perfect. It's kind of like a Hail Mary kind of long here. You close the 1 minute too. Yeah, I mean, it is valid. It is valid. You've just hit break even. You gotta wait for a full candle here. I'm gonna remove that because there's too many lines. This is why I tape read. If it's lower probability, I just won't bother entering it. But I mean, it could still hit. We've just got to wait for a full candle here. Alright, so you go break even now. Your stop would be a break even. Yeah, the reason why I go break even so quick is to protect against losses. And every time I enter a trade, I want it to take off. I don't want to be sat there in consolidation. We were a couple of days ago, but we never hit the break even point, so that's what I like to avoid. But yeah, I mean, this would have been a break even trade already. You're trying to long so high in the range without an EQ balance. I know we have more buy side up here, but it is a risky one, which is why I decided to not even add any risk at all. Like I say, it could still work out, but it would have been a break-even trade. So yeah, you got to play the probabilities in your favor. That's where your edge is. You have to make sure that you know you have an adequate amount of confluences stacking up in order to enter the trade. You can't just enter anything blindly just because it looks good. Like for example, if this closed here rather than all the way up here, this would have been a pretty solid long, just because we rebalanced EQ, we had a clean single gap, and we had buy side right here as well. So you would have had a clean TP1, break even 0.2, and then you could have targeted all up here for a runner, which would give a really nice risk to reward. Let's say the closure was here hypothetically, and what's this risk to reward? The 1 to 4.5, so pretty solid if you ask me. Maybe you'd have gone TP1 here instead of here, but welcome to the stream. Appreciate you guys tuning in on TikTok. Just waiting for shorts here. Waiting for a valid short setup. This setup would have also been good because I've actually just noticed we did have SMT at the lows here. So yeah, if we did get this closure a bit lower, this would have been a nice long, and I definitely would have taken it. Rules are there for a reason, The rules aren't just made for no reason. Like, I've developed these rules over quite a while. A lot of studied losses, so. Excuse me. Okay, so there's this buy side that I said we would take. Like I said, there was nothing in the way here. There was no higher time frame imbalances. Absolutely nothing. This is completely balanced price here. So the chances that if we were going to run this, reject off of nothing, were quite low. We were always going to run this if we ran this. So that's just balanced price for you. If there's nothing in the way, you're most likely going to run the whole range. And if you knew about that and you had a model to support it, you could have caught 95 points. But that's not my model. So same with here as well. There's nothing in the way here. So the chances are we're just going to be bullish. Which is unfortunate because we did have a really nice draw on liquidity lower. And there was no valid long here to try and get in and catch this move. I'm hoping that January will be better though. This is just December PA for you. What does like a retracement discount look like? Potential tap into this 5 minute. What, 15 minute? Or 15 minute? No. There is here. It looks like it's going to be a breakaway gap to me though. We're already quite far away from this. just annoying because we've got no valid sweep of liquidity. We didn't sweep this low. We haven't ran any of this. If we'd have got this long here out of discount and sweeping this low resistance liquidity run, tapping into the stage 4, I would have been way more inclined to enter a sloppy long just because the probabilities are in my favor. But we didn't get that, so. Yes, H2 MMS to the upside. 2 hour. 2 hour market structure shift. Yeah, I mean, you've got, what have you got, 12 minutes here until that candle close? If that's your model, you can definitely look for like a confirmation entry or something. I'd wait for the, you want to make sure that this inversion here as well. To the left, I don't know if you're looking at the S charts right now, but there is a BPR actually to the left, so make sure that one gets closed above 2. And obviously, whatever your model is, just wait for a pullback, I guess. I don't know why I just searched yes, even though I'm already on it, yeah. Doesn't look like we're going to get a pullback here. I do hope we do. Last valid day of trading for me. I do want to catch something. Annoying that we didn't get anything valid. So what I want to see now, I want to see a retracement. As we do have such a good target here and completely balanced price to the left, I do feel like we're going to hit this. I don't think we'll reverse off of this. So we can look for, say, a retracement into a higher time frame gap here. I know it's not in discount, but like I say, valid entry. Kind of like this one that we got down here. We could potentially take it, given the risk reward is okay. So as long as we don't dip below this box in the next minute, we'll have a large M5. Okay, so this is the M5 gap. I'd at least like it to dig into this M5 here. We're going to be looking for like a Hail Mary long kind of setup. Like I said, I don't think we're in any position to really reverse here. Balance price to the left, all the way up to the buy side. It was the same case here as well. This was all balanced price to the left. There was nothing for price to react off of, apart from a small OB, which is where you got this, a little bit of accumulation here to get through the OB. No sound detected. What do you mean? Can you hear me in the TikTok? It's saying there's no sound. Don't know why. I can hear you. Great, thank you. I don't know why it was saying that. Strange. Okay, so if we get a pullback here into this 5 minute and we get a nice clean single gap, we can trend along for this buy side. So for example, we get something like this maybe. You know, nice clean single IFEG here. It's not going to be an A setup or an A plus. It's going to be more of a B plus kind of setup, which means an automatic lower risk is what I will do. But the risk to reward still supports, you know, 1 to 5.5. If we got it, that was. All right, so we've got 8 minutes and 10 a.m. So we might get a little action at 10 a.m. Open. You know, if we're going to accumulate here, it's going to be a little bit of time distortion until 10, I think. I do feel quite strongly about this draw, so I would like to get an entry into it. You know, we can always hold runners for like daily imbalance too, sorry, daily volume imbalance, etc. I don't see price running 300 points today, but as you know, we've already done 350. But we'll see. We'll see. I feel like the daily volume imbalance is going to be the most likely target. We do end up getting a juicy long setup. This is kind of a good thing that we are accumulating here, because it means we'll get a manipulation phase. So if we accumulate here and then we dig down deeper, we can kind of count that as our manipulation into distribution, and then the distribution could take us up, you know, a couple of 100 points, the daily volume imbalance. It's just whether we get an entry off of it or not, something that's actually valid. Appreciate the likes, man. Appreciate you tapping away there. I think it helps. I'm not too sure. I think it does. I have a lot of people joining and then leaving. I think it does help. Either way, I appreciate it. So we did just tap into that 5 minute, although not very deep, and a very slow reaction. I don't really want to cut this stream early just because, you know, it's the last day to be actually trading. So I'd like to stay on. So I hope price action improves a little bit, to be honest. You know, given a huge move like this with no valid entry, it's rare. The only thing that I can really think of that was actually valid is this long here. Looks a little bit better on the 1 minute, but even then, you know, we took out the break-even point. But if you were confident, maybe confirmation out of the 5 minute. But like you said, you've got so many conflicting confluences here. You've got daily H1 inversion, no EQ balance, low resistance liquidity run below, unfilled gaps. Yeah, and then obviously there's no imbalance here to even try and long off of. You know, there's no invert. There could be no possible inversion. If we had a nice 30-second inversion here, I'd take it. But we don't. There's nothing. SMT at the highs. No, it's here. Welcome viewers in the YouTube. Appreciate you being here. We're just waiting through some accumulation at the minute, giving it until 10 a.m. to see if we get a reaction or something. I'm looking for a long, preferably out of discount here, or if we sweep this high and tap into this gap before we get a long setup, we can then look for a short. We do have some nice liquidity down here. I'm just resting above this gap. All these stacked lows here. So what the heck is happening? So ES is heading higher while NQ consolidates in this small type range. Looks like we might get a bullish 15-minute candle close. Okay, so that means that we do have a large 15-minute imbalance here. It's annoying because it's not giving us a single long setup to even try and get in here. Invalid and not even really that good anyway because we didn't retrace. And then there's nothing here. Absolutely nothing. So I'm hoping that we do just sweep this in reverse. That would be my ideal. Maybe tap into this daily volume imbalance. of a very large 15-minute IFVG here. Above bearish FVG. Okay, so you can expect higher prices then, I guess, on ES. Good to know. It's definitely good to know. It's annoying that we're not getting any sort of retracement here for long continuation, you know. There's nothing here, you know. There's no imbalance whatsoever, and this is the 30-second. Not even on the 15-second. There's like a tiny one here, but you can't really count that. They got closed through anyway. You know, you can see a clean move like this, you think, oh, price action is good, but when you actually, you know, dig a little deeper, you can see it's actually not that good. It's just kind of going up with, you know, contradicting confluences and such. It's and giving no entry. Over trade news. I mean, it depends really. It depends because obviously minor news events. If I'm in a trade, I'll just hold it because the news only gives volatility to wherever the algorithm wants to go. But if it's a high impact news, heavy news like FOMC or something like that, I'll wait for the news to drop and then trade the volatility afterwards. Like for example, maybe I think it was like last Wednesday, and it was Wednesday before that we had FOMC. And I was like 4 beautiful setups, you know. Granted, they were scalps. You couldn't have really held to a draw liquidity except for the last one. But listen, I'm gonna just enter this low risk here. If we do get the closure, which we haven't got the closure yet, just because you know the draw is so close and we're not retracing or anything. Okay, so no closure. But like I say, if we do get the closure, I'll enter this low risk. Like it's a very low risk play. We've not took any liquidity. We've not tapped into a higher time frame gap, and it's extremely in premium. So it'll most likely just be a break even. But it doesn't look like we're going to get it anyway. So still rejecting off this. Hopefully we can get a long off the 15-minute imbalance here. That would be nice. Also, another thing for news trading, Fred, is sometimes you can wait for a data high or a data low. So basically a wick that the news candle makes. So if you go on the 1 minute and you know, say 8:30 drops, there's a big wick down, CPI is taking some sell side or something, or wicked into an imbalance. You can then target the low or high of the wick. And it's a really good drawn liquidity. I don't know if you want to backtest that, but you know it is a really good drawn liquidity. They get hit a lot. It's kind of like the 9:30 wick. It's usually a good target for a scalp. So yeah, it's days like these where say we had like news at 10, We could try and get like a Newsweek higher target or whatever, kind of a saving grace for a bad session. But yeah, data high and data low is a good good draw on liquidity. This PA is hurting my brain. It's very bad. Expansion with no follow through, really. We have a whole unbalanced range above here. There's nothing in the way between price here and this buy side, which is why I'm hoping for a retracement with a valid long entry, not just chop. But I mean, we are looking in good stead here for a potential long because we do have sell side here, so this would count as our liquidity sweep, and we have a big 15-minute. Preferably, I'd like it to take EQ. If it doesn't, it's still going to be valid just because we are so close to the draw. Drag it out a little bit. Yeah, there is a 4-hour gap here, which is completely unfilled, and then we have buy side liquidity inside. Right here, actually. Well, oh wait, no, we didn't even tap into this again. So we are holding this bearish gap here. I didn't take this one because we are, you know, bullish. At least until this draw here, since we didn't even make any attempt to retrace the discount or the resistance liquidity run. Kind of left. So yeah, I am bullish here, at least for this. So there's no reason to try and take a short. You know, you can look at the price action prior to what do you mean, dude? There's no inactivity. I'm here. What is wrong with TikTok Live? First I get some sort of audio notification and then I'm getting to get kicked off live. What did I do, bro? Free me. Free me, I'm innocent. Yo, can I just get a valid long? Like, that's all I'm asking for. I'm not asking for much. Just a valid long setup, that's all. All I want. Last demand zone is flying. Good man. I don't trade that, but I'm glad that you I'm glad that's working out for you. I don't really trade. I don't trade supply and demand. I tried it out, and for me, it didn't work. But I guess everyone's different. The same with retail. I tried retail out. I tried it for years actually. I could just never get consistent with it. The concepts just weren't accurate enough. You know, buy at support and resistance. You sell at a trend line. You buy a breakout. Like they're so inconsistent. You know, there's a lot of retail traps by the algorithm, and if you trade retail, you just fall into those traps constantly. The IFVG is the most consistent concept that I've found that works. You get a really clean, solid one off good context, and it's 9 times out of 10 it's hitting at least TP1. The core philosophy behind it is you have a displacement downwards or upwards, but downwards. Prices going fast, traveling fast to reach a specific level, whether it be sell side or inefficiency, and then you immediately close back above it. It's momentum in the opposite direction. You've hit what you wanted to hit, and then you get a huge reversal signal by closing back above the discount with momentum. And obviously the context here isn't great because we're so deep in premium, but if this wasn't invalid, you could use this as an example. Huge displacement down, tapped into basically nothing. But that's just December for you. If this has swept a low or tapped into a valid FVG or something, it would be pristine. But whatever works for anyone is good, as long as it works for you. Always good. Yeah, exactly, man. No, yeah, I'm fully down for that. Good for you. Scalping demand, supply and demand, that's what works for me. Just following the trend, whatever works. Yeah, man. For sure. Appreciate you tuning in, though. Yeah, man, you too. Have a good Christmas, too. Appreciate the comments. Appreciate you tuning in. SMT in a 1 minute. Yes. What are we talking on at the highs? Yeah, for yes. I can't see any SMT at the highs, and I can't see any SMT at the lows. What sort of time are we looking at here? Where are you seeing the SMT, Fred? Two lows are just formed. Oh, okay, no, you're right. I'm being a dumbass, dude. I've got MNQ open instead of ES, so no, you're 100% right, mate. Apologies. I was gonna say I'm a bit confused. I don't want to doubt him because I'm sure he's right, but I can't see it. It looks the same. I'm out here comparing MNQ to NQ. No, you're 100% right, man. Unfortunately, it still doesn't really impact me. I need this for my criteria. If you could take the SMT from your model, do whatever you want, man. Props to you, but I need it. It's my rules. I can't just try and take a trade here just based on SMT, which is unfortunate. But I mean, keeps me out of keeps me aligned and disciplined. Okay, so there's our sweep that we were after. I'll never doubt you again, Fred. But yeah, no, ES hasn't taken that low yet, so there's no inversion. Like, there's nothing I can take here. It's all balanced. No time frame. Very annoying, I will say. Did you enter on the SMT? Out of curiosity. You trade market structure shifts, right? You were looking at the M2. Yeah, I guess it wouldn't be a bad confirmation here if that, if that's your model. If you're taking the 2-hour market structure shift and then you take a lower time frame one on ES. Like I say, it's just not for me. Didn't enter yet. I'm waiting for a bigger structure. But Nasdaq, yeah, fair. Smart. Stack your confluences, Come on, man. Just give me an IFEG. That's all I want. Just want a clean one. Break out of this consolidation here. Gives a nice clean version. Just getting blue balls, really. Nothing's really happening. It's just doing what I wanted to do and then not following through, not giving me any setup or anything. And I need it all to align, basically. And the last Friday before Christmas, I guess you can't really rely on to do so. But the thing is, we're so close to this buy side, and like I say, this is a super good draw. So I don't want to just come off the charts because we're chopping here. Like, I have a feeling that something's gonna happen. You know that meme where the guy's like mining and there's like diamonds on the other side, but he like walks away. It's kind of what's like going through my head right now. Like, I kind of want to just walk away because this isn't good, but something could happen, I guess. I mean, more about the model. Like, the model I trade, it will keep me out of situations like this. I'm not taking a single trade today. Yes, maybe you might think that I've missed this, but this was never high probability anyway because of the draw below and the hourly inversion. So, like, I didn't really miss it. It was never my long. It was never my trade. Other people's criteria maybe, but it was never my long. And when my long comes around, I catch it. And they're way more probable than take blindly longing here without knowing context. But when you wait for such specific criteria, I guess obviously if we're not in December, I'll catch 3, 4, maybe 5 trades a week if I'm lucky. There'll be some trade days where there's like 2 or 3 a day, maybe even 4. Like for example FOMC a couple of weeks ago. And I'll take all of them low risk. Because my criteria is so specific, I don't really need to, hold restraint on how many trades I take just because of the psychology. Like if the criteria is met, and you can see by me not taking any trades today or however many days it's been, that my criteria is specific. So if we meet the criteria, whether it be a B plus, an A, or an A plus, I'll take it given the appropriate risk. And whether that's 3 trades a week, 4, 5, multiple trades a day, it doesn't matter to me because if the context's good and the trade's good, I'm gonna take it. But nothing here is good. Like, see, this is a valid short, but the context isn't good. You have a big gap here just below. You're already consolidating prior. The draw is higher given the bullish price action that we've had given our market open. So when you align a really tight model with crystal clear context, the win rate becomes pretty high. You can't really go wrong. Most of my losses will be extremely small because I'll close the trade on a closure above the gap, and most of the time it's like, say for example, we closed above this one, it's like 10 points. And because all of my trades are on the lower time frame as well, it keeps my stops super tight and my risk to reward really high. And then obviously only taking a couple of trades a week is kind of the sacrifice you have to make for that kind of precision. But I don't really care. One of the big things for me that used to trigger tilt was, taking losses, and it doesn't really bother me anymore because I know it's just a statistic. But if I can keep my win rate high, then there's no reason to even, worry about it. So just specific criteria, it really does keep you online, I'll tell you that. There is SMT here at the lows. Still no valid entry. Like no valid criteria to enter, it's a tiny little gap here. Nothing valid. We still live on YouTube. Why am I? Okay. Oh, hello, Income. I didn't see you in here. My apologies. Yeah, man, you've not missed much, to be honest. And you haven't missed much at all. I think I'm thinking of shorting NQ depending on how it reacts with this FVG. I mean, listen, Fred. Like I say, I don't know your model. But given you've just had your 2-hour market structure shifts, which you pointed out to me in the chat, and obviously you were looking for a break of structure here. I'm currently looking for a long, so I don't know what you want to do with that information. Obviously, we're very choppy here, and there's nothing really to indicate shorts. We've dug really deep above this buy side, and there's nothing holding price back from reaching here. There's no inefficiencies or anything. Price should run this. Unless we get a retracement, which is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a retracement down to this EQ. There's nothing to me here that indicates we're going to get a fast reversal. We very well may, so if it's in your model, go ahead. I'm not stopping you. I'm just... Yeah, I wouldn't, but someone to tell you how to trade, you're your own man. Obviously, our models are very different, so... if it's in your model, take it, but I'm not looking for a short at this moment in time. And there's nothing indicating to me that I'm going to be able to catch a valid short. Maybe off this, if we sweep this and get, a nice clean wick or something, but I do want to see a long here. You have a 1 minute here, 1 minute gap. Let me draw the rectangle. So what are you looking for in this 15-minute, to meet your short criteria? Are you looking for it to completely invalidate the 15-minute? Are you looking for, what are you looking for here? I'm curious. Let me know in the chat, man. I'm genuinely curious as to what would meet your criteria here. This break of structure maybe to the downside. What about those on YouTube? No, man. I know. I will. You're always there, man. Don't worry. You've been tuning in every day now since pretty much I started, which I really do appreciate. Just chatting with viewers on both platforms. IFVG off 5 minute, bullish FVG, and BOS below that at some point. Okay, so you mean like a pullback here and then re-enter on the BOS? Fair. So I'm eyeballing this consequent encroachment here of this 15-minute. Like this would be an OB on a different time frame. We've kind of like a little proportion OB here as well, just below on the lower time frame. Multiple time frame imbalances kind of supporting. So if we get something, you know, clean and valid here, we could definitely take it. Or we might just sell off after leaving buy side right here with nothing in the way, because that's what price has been doing for the past couple of weeks. So we even rebalanced that 1 minute. We didn't even rebalance the 1 minute. Alright, I'm just going to nip to the lavatory. I'll be back in a second. Would you look at that? Would you look at that? Two-minute right here. Didn't hit EQ, which is kind of annoying. And we have an unfilled 1 minute right here. We gotta wait for this 2 minute though. Yeah, I mean, if the 2 minute closes, I'll take it. I'll do it low risk though, just because we didn't hit EQ, which is annoying. And then the 1 minute here will be my break even. If we get that 2 minute closure, which we do. Okay, well, I mean, I haven't entered, so okay. Well, fair enough. I mean, all right. I've got nothing to say, you know. I've got nothing to say about this, other than EQ, I guess. Other than EQ. Let's just wait here, see if we close this through, which it looks like it's going to be honest. IFG ES on 1 minute massive. You mean bearish or bullish? For closure? There's no closure on NQ yet. There is I guess it has closed below on ES. Bullish IFG, yeah. I was just looking at that, honestly. I was looking at the 2 minute. Obviously, I've got to wait for the highest time frame closure. We've just whipped out of it. So, yeah. I guess I'm going to take this a valid long. Since we did just wick out of it and get the 30-second. All right. Not the best entry. So I'm right here, pretty much. Obviously, my hard stops at the low, and I'll close if we close well below this. I'm being cautious around this M1. I know I said this was my break even, but I didn't get the best entry, so I'm going to wait for this next high. Essentially, I am going to target my full draw, which is daily volume imbalance. I can leave a runner up to there. I'm going to see how we react to this 1 minute. Hopefully we close above this. And if we start rejecting off of it, I'm going to be quite cautious. But I'm going to do my break even here. Obviously, if we close above this M1, then my break even is going to be here. If we start rejecting off it, I'm going to be a little bit more cautious. Okay, so we didn't close above it. I'll have to see how we react. Good catch. We don't go close above the C of the 15-minute, 5-minute time frame. Close above the C of the 15-minute time frame. We did, man. We did right here. This is the C of the big 15-minute. This large 15-minute imbalance. Is this what you're talking about? We did. We worked into it here, and then we've got an inversion long, a 2-minute inversion. DC, just clarify what you mean in chat. I might not be catching you here. December 15th, 9:30. Oh, okay, so you mean over here. Are we looking at the same asset here? 15th of December's over here. What asset are you looking at? This is NQ. Just saying it could show a bit of a rejection on that level again. Yeah, for sure. I mean, my break-even point's here, and I'm being cautious around this this M1 gap. I went lower risk because I wasn't a fan that we didn't actually tap EQ. So like I said, I'm being cautious around this M1 gap. Now we've got a little bit of wiggle room here. We've got an inefficiency below it, so. But yeah, no, we've dug into this 15-minute. We didn't retrace the EQ, but we're damn close. We've swept some sell side liquidity, and I am bullish the daily volume imbalance here. I don't know if we're going to get all that today, but at least I can, take some partials or something. Yeah, this is my break even, so I'm going to move my stop to break even as soon as we take out this small high here, which is right now. So on my break even, like I said, I didn't get the greatest fill, so not a fan of the break even point, considering we are in a inefficiency. But I've got to keep, I've got to stick to the rules here. So I'm going to take one partial at the highs here. Let me just move my take profit up, my actual draw. Price slows down here. I can't really expect this to hit, but yeah, I'm going to take one partial off right here. So let's move this away. This will be my TP1, given that we don't get stopped out at break even here, which we are currently at break even, by the way. I didn't get the greatest fill on a 2-minute, so my fill's about here. I was waiting for this wick, make sure that we didn't close back below it. So, my fill's actually about here. Obviously, we close back below if we close trade if we go below, but we're break even anyway, so it's not too much of a big deal. But yeah, I've got TP1 here, and then I'll look to maybe close the trade around this buy side with the 4-hour gap. Obviously, if we start powering through this, I'll hold the runner for the daily volume imbalance here. I'm not going to get too optimistic, you know, given how price has been over these past couple of days. We could easily just chop around here, come and stop me at break even, and actually hit the EQ point, which is where I was looking for originally. So let's mark it up on MNQ here, since that's where I actually entered. Like I say, we are at break even now, so just because, you know, we didn't actually tap EQ here, so we could very well come back down, tap EQ, and then make the move higher. So, and my stop is obviously, my hard stops at the low, so I'm not trying to get hard stopped, if you know what I mean. And I don't know how much it can retrace, so I'm not going to move my stop all the way down here. So, if anything, I could just re-enter if we do end up sweeping the slow, taking EQ, and then get the same sort of setup back up. But we'll just hold out here. Maybe we won't get stopped at break even. If I switch to, wait, I might be able to move my screen across on OBS so you can see the trade that I'm in. I am in MNQ here. I'm going to stop it as a break even. Check ES quickly. So is SMT at the minute. I kind of want NQ to run this high pretty quick. NQ is looking weaker than ES at the minute as well. So we might get stopped to break even here. Which if we do, no big deal, you know. Price action is looking kind of ropey anyway, so it wouldn't be too bad. We do have a little propulsion OB here. I just don't really like that we have an unfilled M1 gap, like right at our break-even point, you know. Kind of want this OB to hold so we can go higher. An M1 inversion as well. Looking too good so far. Apologies, let me just don't know how far over it was supposed to be. I think we were about there. Yeah, I think that's good. Okay, let me just open TikTok. There we are. I'm back. I was ordering for a day. Nice, man. What did you get? What did you order? I'm thinking of, I think we might get stopped to break even here, to be honest. A lot of chop, and we have an unfilled gap right below, just above our break even. Got Pitta from Nando's. We love Nando's. Can't go wrong with a Nando's. That is the question. Do you go hot? Do you go medium? No, you go mild. What are we talking here, you know? I feel like if you go hot, you're just kind of like ruining the flavor. What you're doing is scorching your taste buds. Then you go medium, you go low, like mild, you're like, oh, good, you know what I mean? Bit of a P word. But then you go medium, it's like the sweet spot. You know? Yeah, we agree. Medium is the sweet spot. I'm hoping this M1 IFEG holds up here. I know it's change it there. There we are. I do want a reaction. I don't want to just keep stalling here. Like I don't want to be starting this dead trade. What trade is this? This is a long off a 2-minute inversion fair value gap on NQ, reacting off this 15-minute imbalance. I've entered low risk because we haven't rebalanced EQ of this range. We sort of stopped just above it. And I've already hit break even, so my stop is at break even right now where we are. So it looks like we're going to get stopped at break even, to be honest. But my targets are this high here, this buy side with the 4-hour, and then the daily volume imbalance above. Those are my targets. And like I say, we do have a 1-minute unfilled FVG here, right where my break even is. So I'm thinking that we're going to come and tap that before we go higher. In which case, it is what it is, you know. I hope that helped, H. I do want this to hold up. I really don't want to get stopped at break even here. We haven't hit a TP for a while, and you know, this is the first clean trade of the day. Obviously, we got stopped at break even the day before yesterday too. Okay, well, there's my break even point. You know, it is what it is. Can't be mad. You see why I went for this high though, instead of this high. And then I was obviously cautious around this M1 gap. We had an M2 inversion, which obviously holds a bit more weight than the you know, the 1 minute. I was expecting this to get closed through. If we got a better entry, we could have gone break even here. It wouldn't have even hit break even anyway. But we didn't, so I decided to go here at the next intermediate term high, and then we never actually swept this high. So if you'd have gone break even here, you would, you know, you'd be in drawdown right now. But you always have to do it at the next intermediate term high. It just keeps the break evens consistent, and like I say, it saves me so much more than it doesn't. You know, it keeps my win rate high. If I didn't go break even at the next intermediate term high, the break even, sorry, the win rate would be way lower. I mean, you get a nice clean inversion, the chances are you're at least going to go and take some sell side liquidity, or in some rare chances, some rare cases where we go break even at an imbalance, you know, you're at least going to go and head to one of those. That's what the market seeks out. That's why it keeps the win rate so high. If you go break even at that next liquidity point, it's either going to reverse off of it, or it's going to keep going seeking higher prices. So, you know, sometimes the odd time it will just pull back, don't make break even and keep going, but it's a small price to pay for, you know, being protected, I guess, in the way that I am. But yeah, no, this is stop the break even here. So yeah, honestly, I think I'm gonna call it there. I don't really think there's gonna be much else for me. I don't really know whether just to stick around and see if we can wait for an actual EQ tap here. Just because, you know, this is the last stream that I'm going to be doing until Christmas, and I really don't want to leave empty-handed. But if I have to, then I will, I guess. But... So we are still holding this 2-minute. Let's see if the break-even would have saved me. 23 minutes until the 2-minute closure here. Okay, so we didn't close back below it. I mean, it's not really looking good either, is it? Let's be honest. Yeah, you've got M1 inversion here as well. If we keep moving like this, if we keep moving, you know, nice and fast, you know, I'll stay and we'll see if we can get something off this actual EQ. You know, price has just shown willingness to run higher, but it's obviously seeking something lower, which is most likely, I'm thinking, is going to be this low here, an EQ, since we just missed it. So Did you enter that long, Fred? Out of curiosity. What's going on here? Ah, I'm getting notifications about my own live stream, inviting me to watch. Thanks. You're about an hour late, you know? Only been streaming for an hour and 36 minutes. I entered it at 2507. Didn't go break even yet. Stop is at 2. Okay. Let me have a look. Okay, so you got a nice entry. Hello, mate. I'm a little bit busy. All right, I'll come out soon. Yeah. Good lad. And then your stop's at 465. Oh, is it this low here? Yeah. Yeah, man. I'm telling you, if you just incorporate the break even and just back test it, it saves me more times than it doesn't. All I'm saying. Yeah, no, I'm looking for a sweep of this low here. Tap into the EQ potentially. Maybe run higher. Yeah, with a trade like this, the M2, I mean, the odds are kind of stacked in your favor, at least for a break even, and that's why I always go with the next liquidity. Well, yeah, if you're still in this trade, I hope we don't sweep it. I'd much rather, not get a trade than get stopped out. To be honest. This is the thing. Like when we miss EQ just like this by a little bit, it's usually going to come back down and tap it. It usually does, unless price action has been unpredictable. But let's look 30-second here. Not something I'd take just because we haven't swept liquidity, but it's there. Well, sweep this, a nice clean singular gap, and we can go along. You get something like this, it's it's a wrap. Extend the arrow as far as possible. Unlikely, but for your sake, I hope not. I haven't been able to go full risk on a trade for ages. It hasn't really been one that's lined up perfectly. Quite a while now. Okay, okay. A little bit of movement. A lot of inefficiencies here in the way, though. Let's have a 5-minute. Quite a big 5-minute. I got stopped out of YM long, so that's unfortunate, man. I took a long on this M2 gap right here. We closed above this bearish M2 gap. We got a nice inversion, but I got stopped at break even, and my break even point was here, and obviously we just wicked it and came back down. But I'm currently looking for another long. Potentially, if we take out this low, tap EQ, maybe get a nice little long here. This is NQ, by the way, not YM. So obviously. But yeah, no, I usually use NQ and ES. I don't really trade YM. But man, if YM works for you, I'm like good shit, you know. I just never really used. I used it for SMT for a little bit, but just found that ES was more reliable for SMT with NQ. Good work. I appreciate that, and you, man, and you. The long was a good call. Good instinct there on the long, right here. The only issue we had, if you're curious as to why you might have got stopped out, is we just missed EQ here of the 15-minute rebalance. So that's my thinking as to where price is heading now. Maybe take out this sell side, retap EQ. Maybe the 15-minute consequent encouragement too, if we don't just, don't carry on tanking. But yeah, maybe if you didn't catch that one, a little bit of an explanation there for you. Definitely good instincts on the long here if this is where you went long. I know YM and NQ are very similar in price action, so I imagine that's where you went long. Oh, quite similar. Fair enough, fair enough. How many trades you took this week? 3, maybe. Price action has been awful this week. We've just been missing liquidity left, right, and center. All of these stacked highs, and there's been no follow through without a good setup for me. So I think I've taken 3. 2 of them have been break even, and I can't remember the third. It was earlier in the week, Monday. I think it was a small win. I think it was a TP1 or something. I'm not too sure. Yeah, I took 5. How did you do, man? How did you do? How did you perform from the 5 trades? Two wins, 3 loss, but my R is 2. Okay, sweet, yeah. So you're up. You're up. What are you up, like 2R? Okay, so how long you been trading, man? Still learning how long you've been trading? Oh, you're 1R. Yeah, nice. One year. Fair. You'll get there, man. You'll get there. I've got about 7 years of market experience, but I've only been trading ICT concepts for 2.5. The first 4 or so years were basically wasted trying to learn the wrong concepts, retail, supply and demand, Elliott wave. It's all, a lot of BS, really. I've found ICT concepts to be way more consistent, and I've actually found profitability within ICT concepts. So, yeah, it is what it is. I guess 4 years of my life kind of wasted, but I did gain market experience. I learned to read candles and order flow, and I got the screen time in, even if I was looking for the wrong things. But market's legend. I guess so. But yeah, 2.5 years of ICT, and I found consistency with it. So I'm just happy about that, to be honest. Yeah, man. 2.5. It took me about 2 years to become profitable. It's been about 6 months now since I managed to make my first payout. So I'd say your first payout is when you can kind of class yourself as profitable, and then consistent ones after that. So I'd say that I am. But I've got a decent win rate, a pretty high win rate actually, and then I always get nice risk to reward. I'll always hold a run into the draw on liquidity, and my stops are always super small because I always enter on the lower time frame. So for example, if we got like a 5-minute inversion, for example, rather than taking the 5 minute because my stop would be huge, say for example, I'll use this, I didn't take this, but say for example this, if you went to like on the close, where's the close? Right here. You know, you'd have to stop at the low basically. That's 40 points, right? And then obviously I'd target the draw on liquidity, which if I was bullish at this point, which I wasn't, but if I was, it would probably be here. But obviously that's not what I do. Instead, I'd go on a lower time frame, like the 30-second or something, for example. I'd zoom in and I'd look for a confirmation entry. Obviously this is pre-market, so it's very choppy. But the only valid one here is kind of this, but it's invalid for my model. And then there's also one here as well, which is also invalid, unfortunately. Otherwise I would have taken this. It's invalid because we've already taken out the break-even point. But yeah, and then I'll basically zoom in and I'll get a, you know, more of a precision entry. So say for example, I took this one right out of the 5-minute inversion. You know, look at the stop, you know, 16 points compared to 40. And I could still target the exact same risk to reward, right? The same draw on liquidity. You know what I mean? It just, when you like filter down to the lower time frame from higher time frame entry, it just gives you so much better risk to reward. Yeah, man, if you're targeting set RR with a consistent win rate, that's as mechanical as it can be. And you know what? Props to you, because, you know, having a mechanical setup, mechanical risk reward and stuff, it keeps you disciplined, helps with your psychology. You know, you see criteria met, enter trade, 2R, 60% chance of probability or whatever, and that's just how it is, you know, so don't forget. A good way to, it's definitely a good way to look at trading, you know. Are you going to take another trade? I'm not too sure. Price is definitely slowing down here. I was hoping for a run on this low, and then you know, a nice rejection off this EQ. We are like moving very slowly here, a lot of consolidation. So I'm going to give it a little bit longer, maybe another 5-10 minutes, see if we you know, do end up sweeping this low. But we are so late into the session now that I'm not really expecting, you know, a full move up to the draw. Maybe I'll just if we do get it, maybe I'll target like this, for example, just the high or something. Maybe I'll do something like that, but obviously I'm going to need this low to be swept. We are forming a low resistance liquidity run though here. Engineered sell side. Didn't really do anything pre-market, but it's there. It's quite a low angle on it as well, so it's not a balanced price range. It is a low resistance liquidity run. You know, if it's less than 45 degrees and there's no inefficiencies in the way, it's most likely a low resistance liquidity run. As you can see right here, by it being swept, a prime example of a low resistance liquidity run right there. Worst month for trading, December, dude. December is the worst month, but I mean, closely followed by August. August price action was awful. I'll tell you that. July isn't great either, but every other month, January and February a little bit slow, but you can still get some nice price action. But the rest of them, yeah, you're fine. You're fine. As long as you know, actively avoid bank holidays and maybe the day prior to a bank holiday, yeah, you're pretty fine. Okay, so we have just swept this low. We do have a gap here, a 30-second. Now, this was my criteria for getting into a trade. So we do end up inversing this 30-second. I will take this. Now, it aligns with my criteria, etc. And it is a singular. Oh, it is a singular 30-second. We have balanced EQ. We've swept liquidity, and we're reacting off the lower portion of this M15 FVG here. So, like I say, I will take this if we do get the inversion. If we don't close above it, it's a no trade. And if we don't close above it, I'll probably end up just turning the charts off, because who wants to wait for another one, you know? We're going to close above it. We'll give it another candle here. So hard stop at the low, and then obviously you cut the trade if we close back below the IFVG here. So okay, so it looks like we're going to get a closure here. I'm going to enter. I'll do 3. I'll do 3 here. Okay, so I am in. Best entry. My break even is going to be 1 full candle above here. I have entered this relatively low risk. You know, it's pretty good price. It's pretty good setup here, but I've entered it relatively low risk just because of the price action previous. So there's break even. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give it 1 full 30-second candle after we've hit the break even. You know, if we're stalling in the range, I'll cut. If we're not stalling, then I'll just move it straight to break even. And if we get stopped out at break even, you know, who cares? It is what it is. But if you people I was saying earlier about how it has to be super clean and I have really specific criteria, this is exactly what I mean. So my stop's at break even right now. I'm gonna do 1 TP. There is a big 5-minute here. Not that big of a risk to reward though to this 5-minute. Unless if I don't get stopped out of break even anyway. Which it looks like it might do if we start stalling here. But, you know, like even the most pristine setups, you know that at least sell side or buy side is going to get taken. So okay, so obviously I think I'm gonna do TP1 here. I'm gonna do another TP here. Then I'm gonna do final TP right here. I know this isn't the best risk to reward for a TP1, but we do have a 5-minute imbalance right here, kind of in the way, so it's a conservative TP, but it's only going to be 1 micro. And then obviously I'm going to have 2 more micros here. Very close to break even here. I appreciate that, Fred. Thank you. October was my best month ever. I had like 18 wins until that. Yeah, that's sick, man. That's really good. Good stuff. You get it now, man. You definitely get it. That's pretty crazy, especially with the 2R. Good stuff. Huge props to you. That's a very good win rate. Like a 95%. Huge. So that's TP1. Hey, no worries, no worries. You know, I'm here to support the traders. There's a lot of people that, if you were the people as competition, but you know, the only competition in this game is yourself, right? The only opposition is your own mind. So I can help other people, you know, inform them of my own struggles and stuff, you know. So much time spent in self-doubt. It just, you know, there's my conscience to know that I'm giving other people solid advice. This is a good trade for a, you know, last trade of the year kind of thing. Just in TP1 now, potentially up to TP2. 17. Nice young, man. Nice young. the fact that you've you know, you're hitting that kind of win rate at 17, you're gonna do big things. I'm 24, so you know, I'm wasted a lot of my early years trying to learn BS concepts, but yeah, man, 18 trades and 2 losses at 17. That's solid, really solid. Good stuff. You'll be flying in your mid-20s, I'll tell you that. So hang on, let me just this was my break even point here. We did come very close to break even right here, like really close. My break even was like a tick above my entry, and my entry was like slightly above. So I was like, dude, I thought I was gonna get stopped at break even. This is literally like 0.25 of a tick away. Crazy luck. Okay, so it looks like we've just violated this M5. Completely closed above it. Oh, actually, no, we've still got 2 minutes here on the closure. Open my live stream window here. How many RR are you taking? So this trade here is a 1 to 7-ish. 1 to 7-ish trade. I don't use a fixed RR. I'll go based on where the draw on liquidity is. And because of this price action, like my draw on liquidity would be up here, this daily volume imbalance, but I don't really want to hold for that long just because it's already so late in the session. I've got kids and such, so you know, if this formed at 9:30, I'd definitely be targeting this, but so late in the session, you can't really expect, you know, a target this high to be hit. But yeah, for full TP, which is this high, it's a 1 to 7. And we've already hit TP1. TP1 wasn't a great risk to reward, but it was only 1 micro, just to kind of secure some profits in the uncertain price action. This was a 1 to 5, and then TP2 is a 1 to 4, you know, full TP, which would be 1 final micro, is a full 1 to 7. 6.8, but pretty much 7. So we got 2 minutes here. No, we haven't. We've got no minutes here until the 5-minute candle close. We've got 38 seconds, so that's how much we've got. Also, if we close above, we can actually look to stack. I would definitely be open to stacking a couple of extra contracts, but there's no inversion here to stack on. Maybe the 15-second. Don't really trade the 15-second though, it tends to be unpredictable. No point in trying to put more risk on for no reason. So, oh wait, if we get a 30-second out of this, potentially stack some more contracts in here. Yeah, if price action stays good, very good risk to reward. See your experience in trading. I appreciate that, man. I really do appreciate that. Just trying to keep my risk reward adaptive. You know, I find that if I target you know, a specific risk reward, like you know, where's a 1 to 2, for example, here. Yeah, we would have already hit full TP, yes, but you know, you miss out on a lot of the move, especially if you can work out the draw on liquidity. You know where price is likely to go. Well, because I want to become profitable after that, I can increase. Yeah, man, for sure, for sure. At the end of the day, baby steps, you know. Especially if you've only been training for a year. Absolutely. Yeah, this was the first clean setup of the session. Obviously, this was kind of clean, but it wasn't super clean. This one was super clean. Single 30-second. Yeah, man, for sure, for sure. If you're profitable with it and it works for you, don't change it. If it isn't broke, don't fix it. You know. If it works, it works. There's no point in trying to alter it. I just found out when I first started, you know, finding consistency with my model, that targeting a fixed risk to reward would you know, leak a lot of profits. I know a 1 to 2 is still very good. But why would I do a 1 to 2 when, you know, if I'm pretty good at finding, you know, the daily bias and draws on liquidity. So if I'm pretty much wasting that skill if I'm only trading a 1 to 2. You know, if you can get really good at finding the draw on liquidity where price is likely to go, then you can just hold a runner. You know, especially like, for example, if I was really like wanting to hold for this daily volume imbalance, which is where I think price is likely to go, by the way. So 1 to 13. So if this was New York Open, I'd definitely be holding until that. At least one, you know, at least one. And then you can trail your stop behind as well. It's not like you have to keep it at the break-even point. Like, obviously, if price comes all the way back here, you're not going to wait for it to come all the way back down to your break-even to stop you out. Like, you can trail it below lows. You can trade it below the protected lows where you think price won't go back below. If you get a balanced price range, like with tap DQ, you can then go back below that low, like here, for example. Obviously, we entered here, but if you entered down here, you could then show your stop below this one. Yeah, do I trade at 9:30? I do. I trade from 9:30 until about. I usually try and stop about 11, but obviously we're in a trade here, so and we can go past 11. But yeah, there's TP2. There's 2 micros out. I'm pretty happy with that. This is a 1 to 4 right now. So we have 1 break even today, and then 1 to 4, pretty much. But what I'll do is I'll just wait here a second. I don't like trading past this time. It makes me pretty impatient. You know, I've been sat here for like like an hour and 45 minutes already. I've been live for 2 hours, so this is kind of where I get a little bit, you know, antsy. I want to end the stream and stuff. So, I'm just gonna give it a little bit here. If we start stalling, I'm just gonna cut and take the rest of my profits. You know, we got Christmas coming up and stuff. I trade with my older brother. He's like 30. I'm helping him to stop overtrading. Nice, man. Overtrading is definitely difficult. It is really difficult. It was one of the big things for me. I'll tell you that. I've gone through every single psychological, you know, speed bump that you can go through when it comes to trading, and overtrading was definitely, you know, one of the harder ones to overcome. The best thing that you can do for overtrading is having a criteria so specific, and then having the discipline to stick to the specific criteria, where, you know, overtrading is just completely breaking your model. And then, I know it sounds horrible, but the thing that stopped me from doing it was I felt shame every time I took a trade out of my model. So if I was overtrading, I'd feel horrible. You know, I'd feel ashamed of myself. And eventually you get sick of yourself doing it and wiping away days or weeks of profit just to try and gamble, and you're desensitized to it, and you realize that it's just degenerate gambler behavior, you know. Happy Christmas to you and your family. I appreciate that, man. Happy Christmas to you too. We got 6 days until the big day, so Merry Christmas, man. I wish you good fortunes for the new year and your trading. I really do. Yeah, I think I'm going to just cut the trade here, to be honest. Take the remainder of my profits here. I'm getting impatient and I want to go, basically. So, not a bad trading day today. Played out lovely. Yeah, man, for sure. We took 1 long here. We got stopped at break even, and then I took this too. And we're still in profits, but I'm kind of getting a little bit impatient. So, I think I'm going to just cut here. We've been streaming for 2 hours, so... Yeah, pretty good day, actually. Pretty good price action. So, thank you too. Appreciate that, man. Appreciate that. So yeah, you guys watching in the TikTok, Merry Christmas, and I will be live again come January 2nd. I might do some tape reading lives, just, you know, around the Christmas week, just to tape read price action. No intention on taking any trades or anything, but yeah, it'd be nice to see how price plays out on like Christmas Eve or something, for example. So yeah, I'll be live around then, Jan 2nd. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to leave this trade. I'm going to keep my stop at break even, just leave it and just come off, go spend some time with my family, and then obviously I'll check back on later, see if we hit TP3. But yeah, appreciate you guys tuning in, and you know, really do appreciate you tuning in there. So Merry Christmas, dude.